welcome to Three Things Live. It's a Wednesday here. Cheri, I'm so excited to be here with you today.
I'm excited to be here too.
We are excited to actually welcome all of our girlfriends and guy friends to Three Things Live today, where we are going to have so much fun. Thing number one, something to make us smile. Thing number two, something to learn. And thing number three, something to discover. Let's go. Hi, welcome to Three Things Live. I'm Allison, and I am here today with Cheri and Sandra. We are so excited to welcome you. Today is all about one of my favorite things, buttons. So not only buttons themselves, but how do you sew on a button? How do you do a buttonhole? It's just one of those fun things that buttons have a great history, and I can't wait to share it with you. And they are so fun to adorn. Now, my favorite way to sew on a button? The glue gun.
I was
the glue gun, and you were waiting for that.
I was like, wait, you know how to sew on a button?
I do know how to sew on a button. One of those things my mother made me learn at a very young age. But, you know, when you can just plug in a glue gun, why sew?
Exactly. For a lot of things. Well, come on. I don't recommend it on your new coat.
Yeah, no, right. No. Doesn't hold up very well.
Or your shirt.
Well, we want to excuse Chris today. She is feeling under the weather. She's got that bug and cold that is running around. I know she's been doping up on zinc and vitamin C. So hopefully she'll start feeling a little bit better. But I am here with two of my favorites.
I know.
I'm so
happy
Cheri.
to be here.
Hello, Sandra.
Hi.
And what a fun topic we have for you today. So, you know, do you know the history of buttons?
No, but it's fascinating.
Cheri. Well, the button actually dates clear back to before Christ, to BC, and it is really, and not just before Christ, 2,000 years before Christ.
Wow.
And so the button has been around for a long time.
Was it round?
Yes, I have a picture.
Oh,
Look,
okay.
you can see
So
this
it's always
picture.
been round.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's round, and they actually made them out of shells or wood or clay or anything that they had. So the Indus Valley civilization, which is about 2800 to 2600 BC, they actually found these buttons. And so why do you think that buttons?
Look at those.
And they
They're
were
like
decorative.
Carved.
Yes, they were decorative.
They only
didn't
have
use
one
them
hole.
as buttons.
They only have one hole. How does that work?
Well, you know, I don't know. I'm wondering if they didn't have needles at the time.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
So they used hot glue guns back then too, Sandra.
Why not?
Yes, but they weren't used for function, so they didn't hold things together.
Okay.
They were actually decorative. So don't you guys find it interesting that buttons have been decorative from the very beginning?
From the very, very first.
Yes. All right. So then they made a little bit of a change in the medieval times. And so, of course, obviously this picture is not from medieval times, but then they were used to denote status. And they were actually covered in fabric.
I'm sure.
And so, you know, they got a little bit more boring underneath, but then the status of them. And they used a ton of buttons, and that's when they became functional.
I'm gonna say, look at all those buttons up that front of that dress.
Right. Right. Can you imagine covering those by hand?
Yes.
Then sewing them on, actually carving the wood part underneath, because I'm sure they were made of wood or having to make the mold. I mean, just absolutely crazy. Then in the Middle Ages, there was kind of a little bit of a breakthrough. So the breakthrough with buttons is they used different metals and stone and wood, and that, this is like the 13th century. So they became practical fasteners for fitted clothing in the 13th century.
Like looking at that one doesn't even have holes, and I have never thought of that. I'm like, oh, but that would work. The one on the top left, I'm like, how cute is that?
Yeah.
We should bring those back.
Seriously, did you guys ever have those sweaters that had the wood
the toggle
with the toggle buttons?
Yeah.
Finally, in the Industrial Revolution, which is your 17 to 1800 BCs, that's the next picture here, they became mass-produced. And so that is when they started making them, and they were available more to, you know, the whole country instead of those with money or slaves.
Well, and I'm sure they became very more circulated.
Right.
So, but look at how amazing they look still.
Right.
I have
They're
some
just
that
so
might look
beautiful.
like that.
I do
All
too.
throughout history,
Yeah.
when you look at the history of buttons, seriously, they are so decorative. I mean, they never were just purely functional. I think that in modern times, buttons have become more functional, and they're still decorative, but they are more functional because of the mass produce and because of what they are. So I'd never thought of a button as having a whole history clear back to 2000 BC. I mean, is that not amazing?
That is
to you guys?
That is.
So
it's amazing that they've been used that long.
I know.
And they didn't find anything better.
So do you guys, when you think back, and I'm asking the audience as well, when you think back, do you have a favorite article of clothing that had some buttons that you remember? Because I do remember having really fun buttons. Do you remember in the 80s when the buttons were like this big?
Oh.
Big.
Yeah, I mean, they were just like big, huge decorative
Well,
buttons.
on your coat especially.
Yes.
All the big buttons.
even
that they,
now, I think
and
coat buttons.
double-breasted and, you know, the whole bit.
But when I was a little girl, my mom would always put really fun buttons, like on the placard of dresses. You know, you'd have your 3 pearl buttons or floral buttons. I have just always had a great love for buttons. And one of my memories is sitting on my grandmother's floor, and she had a button box, and just going through. There was a button box and her costume jewelry, and I loved that. As a little girl. Did you guys have a memory like that?
I do too, yeah, the buttons. But there's also Heath Ledger in the first night, no, not first night, Knight's Tale.
Okay.
Where they talk about, he's saying, oh, we're going to make him an outfit, and it's going to be green with toggle buttons. Because I had toggle buttons on a sweater, and I've always loved that in the movie. I'm like, I had toggle buttons. Because they were so different.
Yes.
And so, I loved buttons too.
Yeah, and I'm seeing that there's antique buttons in a collection from grandmothers. I have those as well, that you just keep. She keeps hers in a fruitcake tin. I love fruitcake. But so many good memories about buttons.
How many of you have those Danish cookie
Yes.
tins that are loaded full of buttons?
I've actually moved mine into a big canister because I like to see them.
Yes.
Yeah, I absolutely
like a glass one,
yes.
and then you have it decorated.
Did you ever make those necklaces that you would string the buttons and then they would be all those, and then you were so mad when you gave it to your mom and she didn't wear it every day, all day?
You know, and
There's no hurt feelings here.
Mom, I'm sure she still has
I
it.
have a granddaughter that she's 3 years old, and she's constantly, whenever I'm in my sewing room and she comes in, she goes to my buttons.
Yes.
And I have containers of them, obviously, everywhere, and she just sets them out. She sorts them, colors and sizes, and it's just
What
like
a great teaching tool.
Oh, totally, yes.
And I love the feel of buttons. I mean, do you just like to stick your hands in your button box and just feel those buttons through? Now, I do have to pick on Steve yesterday. He'd never heard of the game Button.
What?
Who's got the button? So we had to teach him. So I brought my buttons today. You got your, that's where you learn to be sneaky as a child. All right, well, before we move into thing 2, buttons are one of those things that we cannot keep in stock. You guys love buttons as much as we do. Seems like every time we buy novelty buttons, they sell out so
and they're
fast.
hard to find anymore.
Yes, and they're especially hard to find they're expensive a little bit. Like if you go into Hobby Lobby or Michael's or whatever, and you're buying $1.49 for 3 buttons. Well, if you guys want to get the jump on Comments Sold, we do have buttons on our website in this fun value Valentine's pack that is all things Valentine. And I'm going to send this with Cheri, but we have these on our As Sing on 3 Things Live. I'm going to send that with Cheri because she has a fantastic project that she's going to share with you that's all about the buttons. So we'll be right back in just a few minutes.
Let's do this. Wow. Oh, there we go. That was really 3 Things Live is where we always have something to make you smile,
Something to learn.
and something to discover.
double the fun.
Yes, exactly. Let's go.
Clear Blue Tiles is a system that Kimberbell came out with that can help you graph out, I guess, map out the designs that you want to put on your project. You need at least 3 inches around your project.
Just like what we would see on a long arm, right?
Correct.
Easy.
I am actually going to put this
These
on
6
here,
inches.
and you definitely need your crosshairs here and your dot in the middle.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Then the next thing I do is I mark my corners.
Yes.
Okay, then that way I know how to where I'm going to line it up on my next go round.
My needle is definitely not over the crosshairs,
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit my laser here.
but I need to be up here.
Yep. So move right there. And we're
right.
gonna, first thing we're going to do is we're going to go up.
Ah, look at that. And what do you know? We're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
Hello, Sandra.
Hey, Cheri, how are you?
I am doing great, and I am so excited today to talk about buttons because I have inherited great grandma's button tin here.
I love your tin,
and
Cheri.
I do not
That
know
is great.
if this is a fruit cake or cookies or just a fancy tin. It doesn't say on it, but that is the tin that I've had
That's a
forever.
keeper.
It is a keeper.
Oh, for sure. Keeper.
We had this, and I actually think it lived inside of my mom's ice cream bucket for a while, just like this, because that's what my mom had. And so I don't always keep buttons in it, but just like Allison, like, don't you love just like opening this up and ta-da! Look at all the
Look at
buttons.
those buttons in there. Oh, this one here. Look at this one. What's that say?
Girl power.
Girl power.
So you know that was like a more recent button.
Yeah, sure.
But don't
Those are great, Cheri.
you know, if we had this sitting in the store, wouldn't you walk by and what would you do?
look at this one.
She couldn't even like 2 seconds, guys. Her hands are in those buttons.
I'm like, whoa, look at
Aren't
that.
those now I know that one came from my great grandma because she would
sure.
take the buttons off
Okay,
of clothes
thank
and
you.
sew them back together so that you didn't have to search through all the buttons. So I have through all of the buttons I have like these little treasures of a collection of buttons
Yeah.
that came off of some of her clothes before she got rid of them.
Yeah.
So
My aunt would go out to the thrift stores and
and just take the buttons.
and purchase all of these items and then cut all the buttons off of them and then I have a tin, pretty much like not
Do
like
ya?
that one, but I have
Yeah.
a tin full of buttons that I got from my
and
mom
it's so
and my
fun.
aunt.
So fun
Yes.
to go through them.
Yes.
I've been using all of these buttons for years because I'm like, they're not going to do any good to just pass them
Do
along.
you have them all sorted in colors,
I
Cheri?
actually do. I actually do. I went to
wow.
glass jars because I did get tired of kind of having to try and find. There are some little teeny tiny buttons in this thing. And sometimes when you need like 2 little black eyes and you're like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I love the pink. These came from great grandma. These are like the perfect noses on
Oh, yes.
so many things that I've done where I'm like,
Yes.
I need this little pink button. And yes, I can get one with holes in it, but I love these little ones with that are
The-
covered.
yeah, the
with
shaft on the back.
And I'm thinking this must have been like a full-length dress because I have got so many of these.
Yes.
So
those are awesome. Those are awesome.
Yeah, I love that. I love the buttons. And like I said, they're now from great grandma, my mom, and me as we've just added to it. And so I came up with a project this week where you get to showcase the buttons. Now, if you don't have a button box, that's okay because we got you. And we have these buttons here that you can add to your project. So if you need some buttons to add to your button collection, go and buy these because these are cute. This has got a fun collection of pinks and reds and whites and golds and
Those are
so
awesome.
many buttons that would look so cute. Like let's see, we could open them up, dump them in there and see exactly what they would look like in your collection.
Yeah.
But
yeah, those
what
are great.
I wanted to do was a project that showcased buttons. And I came up with one that I used some techniques just from Kimberbell, but you could also do with sewing. And this is the pillow I came up with. And this was my first prototype because I wanted, these were hand sewn with embroidery floss because I wanted the movement and the texture, and you can like
Hear it.
you can hear
Yeah.
the buttons.
Yeah.
So this is a good option.
And
if
I
you have
noticed
that.
they're not all tied down tight.
No.
They're loose.
They're loose because then when you set the pillow up, some of them will like hang over. I think this one, there's these two I sewed right on the front because these ones are just hung over. So
Oh, okay.
I like how it just kind of will hang over and add a little bit of texture around that heart in different ways, depending on how you set it down. So lots of texture for this. But I wanted to show you something else that I love about buttons, and that's putting them on with a machine. So we went with a little different look, same pattern, and we have this one right here where all of the buttons have been put on with a machine.
That's awesome.
Isn't that fun? Not my hot glue gun.
Not the glue gun.
Not the glue gun. But you could.
You could.
You could.
Definitely
But what
could.
I wanted to show you were some of the feet that you're going to use when you put a button on with your machine.
Okay.
And in with my machine, I got a M foot. It's right here. And I don't know about you, but I actually had this a long time before I even looked at it. And I'm like, I don't really know what that foot does. And this is a button foot. So I'm going to take that button out of there. And we have this button foot. And it's kind of a crazy looking little guy here because it's got these silver feet right here. And it also has on here kind of a little slidey thing that comes out right there.
That measures your button?
Nope, it doesn't
Oh, it holds
measure
it
your
on.
button. So yeah, that's what this does.
Oh, wait. I know what it's for. Never mind.
Okay.
Go on.
So I'm going to grab a different button here just so that we have contrast with that white. And I'm going to put under, this little thing is kind of like spring loaded. So I'm able to slide my button in there and it goes right back here. And I'm going to line this up right between those holes right there so that when I put this on my machine, this is a 4-hole button, so I'll do this twice, and I'm going to sew back and forth right there. But now I have this thing. What is the purpose of this? This can either slide forward, you can kind of see it right there when that comes out, or it can slide back. And it doesn't hold your button on.
But it puts that gap between your
Yes.
buttons.
If you're putting a button on something like a coat or some jeans and you need a little bit of thickness, this will slide out and it will give you that gap so that your button has a little bit of movement.
Well, it has some space between
Yeah.
it so that when it goes through the thickness of the fabric that it works better.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what that does. So you get a choose your own adventure. Do you want that? On my pillow, I didn't need that because it's just
You want 'em
decorative.
flat.
Yeah. So I can just move that back and then I have that there. Now, something else that people often talk about is they want to know, how do I sew it on once it's on my machine? And some machines actually have a setting that will sew on a button, but I have found, for me, I don't like it because when I put it there, it's hard to change my width. And most buttons are pretty close to the same, but not all of
Not
them.
all buttons are made the same.
Yes, so that
That's right.
width between the buttonholes
Right.
can be a little bit different, and I
Right.
find that I need to change it just a little bit, and so I just will go to my zigzag setting, and I will take my length all the way up to 0. You can also drop your feed dogs, but I like it when it's just at 0 because I can see it on my screen. It will just be a line across.
But you still have to adjust the width of
Yep.
it, obviously.
Yes, and that's what you have is you have control over the width. And we're going to try sewing a button on.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I think I've done it a few times.
You've done it
so
a few times?
Not with this particular foot, but I have sewn a button on
Okay.
with my machine, so it's all good.
One thing, like if you're sewing on fabric, you don't want to sew straight on the fabric. I would recommend having some kind of fusible if you're just sewing on a piece of cotton. These ones here on this project just went on a piece of cotton, or the batting was in there, so I didn't add that. You want to add it on there? Okay.
You want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's been practicing her buttonholes and has one already backed and ready to go. So we'll put that button on
Okay,
there.
so
and
if
I
you-
like this foot because it does hold your button kind of in place.
Okay, so how far in and out do you
So it's just
put
going to
it?
go right between the two.
Where those red lines
where those
are?
red lines are. Yep.
Is where your needle's going to go up and down?
Yep.
So like say that right there.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And as you put it in there, I always, for my very first one,
Do you want,
will hand wheel
we'll
it.
just use this green. We'll just use this green
Yeah, use the green thread.
thread so then it'll show up a little bit. Okay. Okay, I think I got it. Yep, got it. All right, I'm just gonna stick this underneath here.
Isn't that nice that it holds your
she's
button
really
right there?
trusting because I've not done this with this little foot before.
Okay, so let's go to the zigzag stitch.
Okay. So we're gonna go over to 9.
Yeah, that one's fine.
Okay.
And then you're just going to take your length all the way back.
There we go. All the way down.
Yep, all the way to 0, and you'll see your stitch go to one little teeny tiny,
Yeah, you can see that right
one
there.
little teeny tiny mark.
Okay.
Because
Now-
that's not going to move at all, we don't need to really drop our feed dogs, but you could.
Okay.
So-
So you definitely drop your foot, but not your feed
Yeah,
dogs.
yep,
Okay. Yeah,
yep.
I'm not gonna.
And then for your first couple stitches, we're going to hand wheel that forward.
Okay. That is
Because
not
there is
on there
nothing worse
straight.
than the sound of a breaking needle.
Well, or a broken button.
Yes, or a broken button.
Okay.
So you got it set?
I
Do you want me to?
think-
And most buttons
Okay, yeah.
have pretty similar distance between the holes, but not all of them. And so I know that this kind of came up when we were doing the Kimberbell Sweetheart Street, because they're in their set of buttons, they did have a different width. And that's where I was like, oh, I don't like that other one.
So I put my needle down
Mm-hmm.
before I put my foot down.
Oh, okay.
So then that way I can.
So you can line it up on the one
yeah,
side.
Yeah, line it up a little bit there.
Yep.
Okay. And I'm gonna drop that.
And Sybil says people used to use matchsticks to make that little gap. So a little history of the
Okay.
buttons. I remember putting,
Boy,
I think
that
it was like a
worked.
toothpick there.
That worked right there.
Okay, so once you've got that,
I'm gonna turn my
You-
speed
way
way
down.
because my foot control is not plugged in, but I will. I'm gonna plug it in and then use my foot control because
Okay.
I'm much better at that than I am.
so she's just gonna go back and forth. And
And
I
it-
usually do like the first few and then I just go zzz.
Okay.
Because you want probably about 20-ish stitches, I would say, depending on what you're putting it on. Obviously, if it's gonna be used, I would go back and forth about 20 times.
Now this is a really good thing for anybody that particularly maybe does not have that button sew on feature on their phone. Now
their
on
machine.
their machine. Sorry, on your phone
She's got
too.
a whole kind of phone here.
Anyway, but the good thing about the feature on your machine that does that, it does a tack down first.
Yeah.
It'll do 2 or 3 stitches first, and then it'll do your zigzag, and then it'll do it again.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a tie-off
Yes.
for your button, where on this, you don't particularly have
You don't
that.
particularly have it, but you could if you just push the tie-off button.
Right, right.
So I don't usually do it at the beginning, but I usually do it at the end.
Okay.
And I'll just do a tie-off where it will stitch 3 or 4 times in the same hole and be tied off.
Okay. And I'm just gonna do that, and then as I pull this
Yep,
off,
you'll just slide it out of that
it
attachment.
slides it out at the same time. So there, you can
There
take
it
a look
is.
at that.
Look at that. So this is a 4 one, so we would just do it again. We could just slide that button up and do the other 2 holes.
And if you wanted to do them at a different angle crosswise,
Yep.
you
You
could
would just-
definitely
yep.
just turn your button so that when you stitch that zigzag stitch, it would do that. Now this width was really great.
Yeah.
Because it set it at 3.5,
Yep.
and it came out just great.
And that is pretty common.
Yeah.
That's a pretty common. But I was looking through my buttons, and there you might have to, as you go back with those hand things, decrease it or increase it just a little.
And it's the same thing. You do exactly that same feature when you're putting it on with that button feature. So the button feature on your machine, and we'll show you where that's at also.
Okay. The other foot I wanted to show you is this little foot right here. And this foot does not have a way to hold the button, but this attachment right here is a little bit rubberized. And so this one, like as I'm putting it in, I don't hold it, I just can put it here, and I will line up those holes, just like on that other one where it's right between that blue, and then it will go back and forth there. So I like this one too. So it kind of depends on the buttons. Bigger buttons I think work better with this because that rubberized grip holds it. But other than that, it's the exact same process.
So what happens if I don't have those feet with my
If
machine?
you don't have this, okay, now I would say first of all, go and look for them because the M foot, this one here, actually comes with a lot of the different machines.
Okay.
It came with the Brothers, it came with the Baby locks, so, and it looks just like this. I think it's a foot that you're like, don't know what that does, and I just have left it. So this is the M, like the letter, like M&M's foot.
There you go.
And so, and this other one, they actually call it an M foot too, and I don't know if it's just because it's a button foot, but that's what it was called, but I call it my button foot. So,
Okay, but again, what if I don't have that?
If
I have buttons that I need to sew on, what do I do?
You can buy them. You can buy them on their own, so you
Okay.
can still purchase
What
those
else
on-
can I do?
What else can you do? You can just use the zigzag in a regular foot.
How about just using the shank on my machine?
Can
and
you?
not a foot.
And not a foot?
Yes, you can.
All right.
Yes, you
I
can.
have not done that.
I have done that.
So
Yeah.
there you go.
You definitely can do that. But I mean, the one that holds the button is great. I think that's the first one I would look
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, because it holds it as you're moving your fabric and stuff like that.
But if by some chance you have a button that you want to sew on and you don't have that foot and you need to get it put on, you can definitely just use the shank on your machine. It'll just set down there and it'll hold that button in place, and then you can sew it on.
All right.
So, yeah.
Well, we got another feature all about buttons that we
Yes.
will get to right after this.
Calling it the right side up banister quilt.
I just want to kind of, take you through how we do pre-cut, pre-fused kits. They have like little tick marks, and all you have to do is a little snip with your scissors. That's it. Very easy, and it comes right out. With these pre-cut, all you have to do is just peel off the back. All right, you've got your fusible there. And then
So if I iron
you're
this,
just gonna place it right there.
if I iron this and it doesn't stick, I need to just go make sure I peeled off the backing.
Yeah. Are you asking for a friend?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're just putting it right inside those lines. Pretty
They match
darn
up
good.
really
They
good.
do. So very, very easy to do. We hope you are as excited as we are about this. Welcome to another Swig Night. It's our first of the new year. I am going to do the unthinkable. I'm going to cut my threads. So I'm going to take the end of my thread, just place it right here in the little port. Just kind of gently massage that in. With my little lever here, you're going to hear this little swish of air. There we go. It's threaded, guys. You don't have to be nervous about threading. You saw me do that in literally under a minute.
It's like freedom.
So true.
And okay, Cheri, how long have you been making buttonholes? Have you been making buttonholes? Let's ask that one too.
So I remember making buttonholes as a kid when they were hard.
Yeah,
They were so hard,
exactly.
and no one wanted to make them.
Yeah, exactly. You did not want to because you had to take your little seam gauge and you had to mark your buttonhole, and then you had to go to your machine and you had to do this step and then this step and it was like, oh my gosh, I do not want to do that.
No,
Okay.
we hot glued our clothes together.
Yeah. Right. And I can remember making those buttonholes. I made a lot of them. So when the newer machines have come out and how do you feel about making buttonholes now?
You guys, it's so easy.
One step.
I know, and it just makes you look like you're so amazing.
Yes, it makes you, it looks like you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Okay, and as I was looking at this, I thought the hardest part is deciding how do I want my buttonhole to look?
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. I made several different buttonholes on the machine, and I was like, ooh, gosh, which one do I like best? How do I want my buttonhole to look? Because as buttons can be decorative, so can your buttonhole be a decorative step on it too. Also, you look at it and go, what is this?
Yeah, that foot looks kind of freaky.
It does.
And it might be another one that you've avoided because you're like, I don't know what this foot does.
Right. It's like, I have no idea how to work that buttonhole foot. It's like, how do I do this? So I think it's really great for us to get to know our machines, and we need to get to know the feet that we use on our machine. I think that is just so vital to any seamstress. It doesn't matter what you're doing, quilting, sewing, whatever the case may be. You need to know what all these different feet can do on your machine. And this is one of them.
Yeah,
Okay?
it is. It's an amazing little foot.
The one thing that you have to look at is that, first of all, this is what measures your button right here. So you can see it'll go up to a really pretty good sized button.
So it's like custom.
Yeah. Yeah, you just stick your button in there and close that up, and that's the size of your buttonhole. How many times do you remember measuring that? Making sure that that buttonhole is the right size.
And getting it all done, and it was wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
This is like success guaranteed.
Exactly. So, and again, you can do up to multiple sizes of buttons. Let's see this one.
This one?
Cheri brought this button. What do you think of that button?
Well, it doesn't look bad.
Look at that.
That was in Grandma's stuff. There's a set of them, but I'm like, oh, you can't do that one. You can't sew that on your machine. It's probably almost a half an inch thick, guys.
But do you think that you could do a buttonhole for it?
Yeah.
You definitely could. Because of the thickness of this, I probably would give it just a little bit of a leeway and make it just a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Because obviously, in order for that button to go through something, through a buttonhole of any kind, you definitely have to do it. But I'm just for purposes here, just to show you that your buttonhole foot will make a buttonhole that size to fit that button. So anyway, let's go back to these that are a little bit more usable. Anyway, you just put your button in there like that, and it measures your button. And this one here, this particular foot, and you have to know on your machine, does it sew it from front to back or back to front?
Yes,
Okay?
always do a practice run.
Yes.
So you know that.
Yes,
'Cause
always.
It does change from machine to machine.
Right, it does, because my Solaris, it went this way. I used my button to measure from the front, and then it sewed it. But this particular one, on this Stellaire, you put it on, and you put your button, it goes towards the back. So I'm going to give this to you, and I'll have you put that on the machine, and then that way we can make a buttonhole. So which buttonhole would you like to make, Cheri?
Ooh, I don't know. They are really cute.
There are some really fun ones, different kinds. So anyway, yeah. So as you can look at this, and again, when I did these, I did different sizes here. So I've got some different sizes, and then these are a little bit smaller. But as you look at the difference of them, this has like a little keyhole right there. This one has like a zigzag stitch through the middle of it, same as this one, so a little bit wider. But another thing that I noticed is at the end of your buttonhole here, some of them were just a bar tack back and forth this way, but this one had the bar tack going this direction.
Ooh, kind of like a little satin stitch going on there.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's different widths here.
Yes.
So
yes.
which one did the little bar?
This one, the one that the little bar tack this way. So as you look at your machine, you can see where, it, like on that one right there.
There you go. That's a fun one. Should we do that one?
So let's try that one.
Okay. So I just have to drop my foot.
You do.
And
now wait a minute.
Oh, we still have a red light because what did we forget?
You forgot to drop the little bar thing that measures your button.
So see this right here? It just goes down, and on this one, it's going to go behind that first because it's going to let it know between this gap when it's there. So
Right.
as soon as I drop that, we got a green
You got
light.
a green light.
All right.
Now it also tells you to grab your thread.
Okay.
Okay, and hold on to your thread, because what I found happening is that the very first of that buttonhole, it would just kind of, it doesn't pull your thread down into your feed dogs.
Okay.
It leaves it on top. So you want to grab it so you don't
Okay.
have a big knot on the top.
And let's grab it so it's behind there, just
Correct.
like that.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
And we're just gonna hit,
You can just hit the go button, but we gotta
we gotta unplug this.
Yeah. Now.
All right, there we go. And it's just gonna make like one touch and we're going.
Yeah, that's it. We might want to speed it up. There we go.
So this is doing some reinforcing stitches.
Uh-huh.
And now it's doing the zigzag over those. And this is a big buttonhole we're making.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, you haven't got a small button there. It's a pretty good sized button you've got there. So like I said, it's not a small one.
And it's already done like the little keyhole, and now it's coming back on the back side. And I don't need to do anything.
That's it. You start, and now all you have to do is cut your thread. It'll bring your needle up. It'll bring your foot.
foot up.
And did you see how that buttonhole foot just kicked back?
Yep, kicked back, and there it is. There is our buttonhole.
And there it is. So then all you need to do is obviously is just cut your thread here at the very first, but there's our buttonhole right there. Isn't that fun?
That is so fun.
That's a fun one. So another thing that I think about as far as buttonholes is, how many of you are afraid to cut your buttonhole open?
It only takes once.
You do it wrong one time. That's exactly right. You do it wrong one time. But I'm going to show you just a couple of little tips on how to cut that buttonhole open without having any possibility of cutting the end of your buttonhole totally.
Okay.
So what I learned early on was to take a straight pin and put it at the base of your buttonhole like that. Then I'm going to start, I usually start in the middle, okay? And I'll take my seam ripper, and you can use just a pair of scissors, a really fine point scissors, but I usually take my seam ripper and just push that. And once you get to that pin, it's not gonna go through the end of your buttonhole there, okay? So then you can take it and move it back to this end, and then turn it around as if you're starting in the middle. That's just a habit that I've always had. And then there you go, and then your button. And
It opened perfectly, and you didn't even go past it.
No. Okay, hand me my button. I'm gonna
Okay.
make sure that it fits, and that it's gonna go through the buttonhole. So I always like to put my button on top of my buttonhole like that, just to kind of double check it and to make sure. But after I've cut it open, look at that. And it's got the right amount of resistance. It's not too big. Don't you hate it when your buttonholes are too big and your buttons come undone?
Or if it's too small and you can't get the button through.
Yeah. So it's always great to just kind of make a test and make sure that your buttonhole is the right size and that your button goes in and out very easily.
Awesome.
So there's some tips on making buttonholes, and don't be afraid of them anymore.
Yeah.
Because they are, these newer machines obviously are so much easier on making buttonholes. They do it for you. You don't even have to, they do all the work for you.
They do. I've seen a few people say things about making them in the 70s, and we're not going back to the 70s anymore.
No, we're not. So it's always great.
All right.
So there we go.
Thank you, Sandra, for teaching us
bet.
all about buttonholes. So now you guys are set to get the buttons and the buttonholes on your projects in just the right way. And we have a couple of things coming up on 3 Things Live
Okay,
that we want
fun.
to talk about. The first one is at 2 o'clock today. We have a post going up that is going to say, "Ask us anything." And we want you in that post right there to ask us questions, things that you want to know how to do. You could ask us, like, I don't understand this concept, and you're going to put it there. Now, if you see someone's posted like, I don't know how to do a binding, perhaps, like I'm confused when the binding is joined, and you are the same, on their comment, if you will just reply and say, I don't understand this either, then we will know like, oh, there are a lot of people who don't understand this. So this is your chance to ask those questions and to get answers. And from that, we're not going to answer every question because I don't know, maybe the show's not that long, but we are going to look there and we're going to answer those questions that you need to know how to do. So remember, at 2 o'clock, you're going to see this graphic that's on the screen right now that goes live. So 20 minutes from now, look for this, and that's where you're going to type your burning questions, because that gives us one place to go to find all of them.
And the whole thing about it is, Cheri, there's no such thing as a stupid question.
There's not. If you don't understand it, please ask the question.
Oh, for sure, because you know that if you have that question, there's always someone else that has that very same question.
Yep, exactly.
And we're going to help you find the answer.
Okay, the second one is what we're hoping to avoid, and this is the call out for the epic fails. What have you sewn? And we've seen a few of these coming in, and you guys are amazing. Thank you for sharing, because we've
all been there.
Yeah, we've all been there, and we have loved seeing those, because been there, done that.
Yeah.
And we want to share and be able to maybe have a smile with each other and be like, you're not alone. We got
and
you.
it's like what Chris said earlier. She says, we've got you. We've got you covered. We can help you figure out why you're having that epic fail. But the one thing that I learned early on, and I think I've said this before, there's no such thing as a bad mistake. It's a creative experience.
It is.
Because you can always make it better. You can always learn from those mistakes. And that's how we learn and how we grow.
Yep.
So don't
It
hesitate at all to show us your epic fails, because I've probably been there. I've done them all.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
The last thing we want to talk about, and this is the one I'm so excited about, you guys.
Yes.
We are doing our galas retreat, and we have 5 different ones that are available, but we have a lot of openings in June, and I'm like, you guys are crazy, first of all, because June in Cache Valley is the favorite time to be here.
It's awesome.
It's so pretty. It's so green. The mountains are, I don't know what it is in June. They're just alive again. They're beautiful. So if you are thinking about coming to galas, it is a sewing retreat where you get to bring your own projects. We provide a machine, and we provide the laughter, the fun, the prizes,
And classes. I mean, not classes, but demonstrations. We do demos throughout the whole thing too, so you can learn different things there too also.
Yep,
So
you'll
we're
be learning,
excited.
creating, and having so much fun. If you're scared because you don't have a friend that wants to come with you, come.
I'll be your friend.
Yeah, come, because friendships are made in just mere minutes, and you're going to find that you have your new best friends right there. We've seen it time and time again, and so we hope you'll join us for galas. There's a few spots, but June is the one where I'm like, you guys, you don't know what you're missing in June, because it's beautiful.
It's a great time of year to come to Cache Valley.
Yep. So we hope you'll join us for that. And that's going to wrap up our show. I'm so glad you were here with me, Sandra, to learn all
Cheri.
about buttons.
I learned a lot. I mean, just that buttonhole foot. I'm going to try it. I'm going to use it.
All right. We'll see you guys next time on 3 Things Live. Bye.
Thank you.